Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you are. Welcome in. It is our Monday edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We're live once again this morning from Bill Penny Toyota. Don't forget, their service department is now open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. And they do offer hourly rentals available, $15 per hour. If you got to bring your car in, you got to get it serviced, and you need a ride around town, you can rent one for $15 per hour. They've got all kinds of nice little Toyotas sitting out here for you to use. It's a max of 4 hours. Then the charges to daily rental rate applies to the vehicle. Now, if it's over 4 hours, any payments towards your hourly rental will be applied to the daily rental rate. So there's no need to wait. Rent a Toyota today. They can get you around town for 4 or 5 hours, and you can avoid some of the good, the bad, the ugly that comes sometimes with bringing your car in to get it serviced. It is Monday. It is a Monday after college football. That means you can give us your good, the bad, the ugly from what you saw from over the weekend. An Alabama win at home that has plenty of good, the bad, the ugly probably within the win. And then you have an Auburn loss at LSU, which has plenty of ugly in it from an Auburn standpoint, plenty of good from an LSU standpoint. There's other stuff around the SEC that is plenty good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, there was, as usual. Alabama played a really solid second quarter, pretty good first quarter, good first half, built a 21-6 lead and kicked a field goal to go up 24-6, had the game under control. But to me, the bad was just a couple of just bonehead mistakes, by people to let Arkansas back in the game. And this is an Arkansas team that basically was trying to give up in the game because they weren't generating anything offensively. Alabama was dominating the line of scrimmage defensive-wise, and they were running the football on 3rd and 8s and things of that nature. I think they were trying to kind of catch Alabama in some things like Mississippi State did, but it wasn't working. And Alabama was about to get the ball back midway through the third quarter on about a 3rd and 7, somewhere around there, and they ran the football. Alabama pushed the running back out of bounds. And, of course, Jalen Key comes up and body slams a guy behind the play and gets a personal foul. And then football is a funny game. As soon as that happened, it sparked Arkansas to score a touchdown. Then they got a 3-and-out, and we'll talk about that ugly part of the second half, which was Jalen Milroe. And then Alabama gave up another touchdown. Alabama had trouble. The bad, they couldn't get off the field on 3rd down until the last drive for Arkansas. So, in the second half, they had trouble. So Alabama, let them back in the game. They converted a 2-point conversion. It was very much in peril. It was 24-21. And then, the ugly, like I said, it was Milroe's second half. 3 for 11 for, 23 yards. That's what he was. No touchdowns. But to his credit, and this is part of the good, he had a really good second quarter, helped them build the lead through the deep ball well. And in the last drive of the game, when you have to have it, he finally did use his legs to run on 3rd down for a first down.
Right.
And then after another, part of the bad, as I said, stupid penalties, because Alabama had the personal foul on Jalen Key and then 2 other stupid penalties, a false start when you're running the football on a wide receiver.
There it is. There it is.
On Ja'Cory Brooks.
Yes.
And then Scott, I've never seen this. Been watching football. Let's see, I'm 48 years old. Been watching football since I was at least 10, so that's 38 years. Have you ever seen somebody get a false start on a taking a knee?
No.
Yeah.
No.
That SOB should still be running. He should have just run home. But I'm just saying, Danny Lewis or whoever it was, and I don't care. I'm going to call out guys. They're getting paid. They're getting paid NIL. They're basically employees now. Do your job. And so, whoever it was, somebody moved taking a knee. And I didn't blame Nick Saban for dog cussing. He was dog cussing somebody. It looked like Danny Lewis, and I would have dog cussed him too. So, I mean, how can you make a stupid mistake? You're taking a freaking knee to run the clock out.
Yeah.
And so that was part of the bad. But like I said, the ugly was just the second half execution offensively, especially in the passing game. It was see, people want to say, well, why did they abandon the run? Why did they quit running the ball? They tried to a few times, but Arkansas, it's a chess game. Arkansas was getting gashed in the third quarter on that one drive. Guess what they did? They start locking the safeties up and loading the box up to take the runaway. So you know what you have to do?
That's what Texas A&M did, and Jalen Milroe took advantage of it 2 weeks ago.
You have to be able to throw it.
Yeah.
And he just turned into Nuclear Loose the second half, and he couldn't hit any throws. I mean, now I will say this, another part of the bad too. It was the wide receiver core's worst game. And what I mean by that was they weren't horrendous or anything. He did have a couple of drops in the second half. But what you've seen, and we've talked about this on the show every week, is they've helped him out. Like every game, pretty much 2 or 3 leaping or diving catches to help out the quarterback. Well, they didn't come up with any of those on Saturday in the second half. And so Milroe, he went, like I said, at one time he was 1 for 9. He ended up 3 for 11. And it just wasn't good enough, 10 of 21 overall. And, luckily, again, he had a very solid last drive to run the clock out. But if they're going to beat Tennessee, they're going to need the A&M Milroe and not the Milroe that we saw in the second half. Because he put 2.5 really good games together. When I'm talking about Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and then the first half of this Arkansas game. But the second half, everything was sailing on him. He wasn't
back to reverting.
He just did not throw the short or intermediate passing game very well. And, again, he took sacks. At least 2 of the sacks were on him. And I thought the offensive line was pretty good. Certainly both left tackles, they played them both. And that's all they got, guys. Everybody's talking about putting in guys at left tackle, but 74, 57 both gave up sacks. But I thought overall, though, they played pretty well. And I thought they ran it much better, especially if you take out the sack yardage. But, again, they've just got to be more efficient in the passing game because you got to have balance.
Here's Nick Saban for a second after the game on Saturday.
And, we played pretty well in the game up till 24-6, which was about halfway through the third quarter. And then we didn't finish. We got penalties. The whole momentum of the game is on the third down stop. We get grabbing a guy by the face mask after the play, which, to me it's bad. I mean, you can say what you want, but a guy does that, he's putting himself ahead of, what's best for the team and, putting yourself in harm's way of having a chance to win. And then they go down the field and score. The momentum of the game changes. We go 3 and out on offense, have a couple drop balls, miss a couple throws, and not executing, not hitting on all cylinders, let the other team back in the game, but had the resilience to take the clock at the end of the game and not give them the ball back, which is really, I think, important in the game. But hopefully we can learn how to beat the other team, not just win the game, but beat the other team, which means you got.
There's Coach. And you look, Alabama has 5 games left on the season. Is a lot of what we're seeing from Alabama going to, you want to wrinkle a lot of these things out. You want to iron them out, I should say. You want to flatten them out. You don't want a lot of them. But is there a lot of things that we're seeing that we're just going to have to, Alabama's just going to have to overcome every game because it's going to be there and they're just going to have to fight against it every Saturday?
Well, schematically, they're just going to have to help the left tackles out. They're going to have to chip with running backs, tight ends, in my opinion, because I think Proctor's going to be a good player. He's just not as far along as some guys we've seen in the past that took over the position even as true freshmen. I think I told you this. He was 390 in the spring, so he was already too heavy. He's been getting his weight down the whole time, so he's going to have to continue to get in better shape, no doubt about that. Pritchett is a guy that's been hurt some, but also that Proctor just beat out. Okay, I don't think there's anything political about it. I think he just beat him out because they're playing them both. So you are who you are at left tackle.
Right.
I had someone message me on Saturday. They wanted to right after the game put Latham at left tackle and then just totally it's too late. You can't just reshuffle the line like that. That's something Mike DeBose would do. Okay, or he tried to make Sean Draper into a tackle instead of just leaving him at tight end, and that's why you have losing records and go 4-7.
Right.
You can't panic like that. You just have to keep working the process. And so, to me, you are who you are.
Same way with quarterback though too. Jalen Milroe.
Milroe has had bright moments, and that's the maddening part of it. He's just, even in the same game, he can go cold. I mean, he played. Solid football that first half. I mean, he was 7 of 10 for 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 1 because they got up under the center, Scott, and they stuck it into the end zone. Did you see that one?
Everybody. Yes, that is.
I mean, it was great.
Yes.
Now, but again.
If you had the bingo card on that one, you came through.
So, so he was very solid.
Yeah.
But it was just all of a sudden he was just scattershot because there was guys open. And see, people want to criticize Tommy Rees. Look, man, he can't throw it for the quarterback. The guys are open. You have to be able to hit some throws in the second half because if you do that, then it keeps them backed off and you can run the football. It's called balance. You got to have balance, and Alabama couldn't throw the football the second half.
There was some angst for against Tommy Rees earlier in the season because it was kind of some head-scratching calls, some like, okay, where's this offense going? Do you think that's changed at all? Do you think Tommy Rees is settling in now?
I think he's been doing a solid job, man. I thought Bill O'Brien did a solid job last year, even though he wasn't a great fit for the college game. When you're averaging 40 points a game, Wild Turkey's giving up 42. That's Wild Turkey's fault. Okay,
he gone. Yeah,
and so that I was getting into this argument on Twitter last night. I mean, people trying to say, well, the defense was ranked 9th in the country. I'm sitting there going, did it look like it was ranked 9th in the country? And does it not look like a completely different this year from a physicality standpoint in the way they're playing? More aggressive. I mean, I'm just saying that overall, I think the defense looks better. The offense, I mean, it's been a work in progress. There's no doubt about it. But I still think 85 to 90% of the issues are quarterback driven because Milroe has to get better at moving up in the pocket and showing a bit more quarterback presence as far as pocket presence to help the offensive line. I think it would help the tackles, especially at left tackle. And then you have to get rid of the football. One of the most amazing stat I got this weekend, we did my BAMS radio podcast, that'll be out later today. But the thing is, we were researching, and one of my co-hosts came up with this. I guess it was Pro Football Focus. They 1 through 14. They ranked the SEC quarterbacks on the average seconds it takes them to get rid of the football. Who's last?
Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, over 3 seconds. And so he's just not pulling the trigger, and he's taking too many sacks. And then that would be still more. I think it would be. You could tolerate it more if he was running. You know what I'm saying? And taking off. And again, I know, and look, I was guilty of this early in the season with Rees, RPO, zone read, stuff like that. But Milroe was not comfortable doing that, okay? He's just not. He doesn't even time up quarterback draws real well at times. Here's where Milroe is best at running. And you saw it against Mississippi State, Scott. Improvisations. You call a pass play, all of a sudden he sees the middle wide open, and he just takes off. And he goes for 53 yards and a touchdown. He took off and ran one in from about 10 yards out in the red zone. There's not a lot of wiggle to him as far as, like slitheriness, like a Jaden Daniels.
Right.
But we know what he's got. He's strong, and he's got that straight line speed.
Yes. And
he needs to take off and help the offense in the running game some more, running the football. Not called runs, because that's just not really what he does. But I think, the improvisations, I think the coaching staff just needs to tell him, you need to take off every now and then. If you don't see somebody, don't take the losses, don't take as many hits. And then to me also, when you're talking about Jalen Milroe, and he did do this once on Saturday as well, every now and then throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Because he finally did do that on Saturday as well.
All right, let's get out to the phone lines real fast before the first break. Brandon is with us this morning. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning.
Morning.
So let's do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good has got to be the Saturday Night Live skit of Deion Sanders.
That was pretty good. I have to admit, I went back and watched it.
When he took his glasses off and said, "Look at me," I about fell out. That was the funniest thing they've done since before Obama was in office. I mean, they don't really have any objectionable to him anymore, but that was funny. Whoever sat down and done that, that's comedy gold that's going to last a little while.
Yeah.
The bad for me was Alabama blowing what should have been about a 3-touchdown win in that game on just more stupid penalties that we just cannot seem to get rid of. The ugly would have to be what Coosa Christian did to Cedar Bluff.
Oh, Lord, I saw that.
97. They put up 97 points, and the coach.
It was 94-7, though, wasn't it? Wasn't it? I thought I saw that.
Yeah,
he just said he did it. He was trying to get back at the superintendent or something.
Yeah, because he was trying to get back because they turned them in earlier. I think he feels that they turned them in.
Because they had to forfeit like 4 games.
Yes. And so this was their first game back.
I'll just ask one question. Was Rush Post employed there for about a month?
He was not.
Yes, he was.
Well, was? Oh, that's right. He was. He was. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. He was. My bad.
Then he went to Pell City, and they had to forfeit 2, didn't he?
Yeah, he had to forfeit their only win.
Are you shocked?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just thought I'd point that out. You know, Rush is a friend of the show, but I'm just saying.
So Rush is yet to win a game in the state of Alabama.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
No, he's still
they actually gave Coosa 1. I think they've won 1 game.
Right, but Rush, as
I
a
guess
head
that was
coach,
after the forfeiture.
Yeah.
Well, he was co-head coach.
Right, but he wasn't there on the sidelines. So
no, he had already left to go to Pell City.
He has yet to win a game in his return back to the state of Alabama. Yeah.
Well, and I guess somebody needs to tell Lincoln Sharman that he needs to figure out how to be double fly because he could not clean up that diarrhea that was his team on the field the other night.
Yeah, they
did
not.
They get exposed.
Yeah.
All I know is this, man. I saw Charles Power ranked Caleb Williams 3rd in the Heisman vote, and the SOB had 199 yards and 3 interceptions.
Yeah, he's not 3rd.
Is he going to be on your ballot?
Well, no. Michael Penix will be.
Oh,
that game on Saturday.
I watched that game from start to finish. That was quarterback play, man. Bo Nix. That's the Bo Nix I saw at Benson Valley.
Yes.
It's amazing what coaching and a little talent around you gets you, man. Whoa.
That was
a
every
tremendous
bit
game
of the billing that it was supposed to be.
Now, Dan Lanning, I guess you could call that maybe some of the bad. I wouldn't say ugly, but bad.
Going forward on 4th down,
I think he was
late.
just too aggressive.
Yeah.
I think, he should have kicked the field goal at the end of the half, and I think he should have punted it instead of trying to go for it on the 4th and 3 and trusted his defense. But and then they did miss the tying field goal, which could have even been in the winning field goal. But I'll just say, I still like watching the way his team played, the physicality, and the way they approached it. And don't get me wrong, Kalen DeBoer took chances too. It was just a really fun game to watch.
It was not your typical Pac-12 game. There was a lot of physicality to it. There was a lot of there was defensive moments, but it was just really good quarterback play.
And Penix is not Tua, but he's pretty dang good, man.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah. All right, Brandon. Hey, thanks for the phone call, bud.
Thank you, man.
It's 7:18. We got to get a break.
Go ahead one time. Go ahead, Brandon, real quick.
Christmas tree cakes in stores today.
Oh, there we go. There you go.
Well, Scott still got to get his homemade ones we never got.
I know, we never got the homemade ones. That's okay. Hey, thanks for the call, Brandon. Now we have something to look forward to. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to get to Mark from Huntsville. Plus, we got to delve into what happened in Death Valley on Saturday. Death by 1,000 cuts for the Auburn Tigers.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. They never found that wreck on Hudson Memorial. Got County Line and Old 20 with injuries. Sparkman south of University has injuries. 565 westbound at Greenbrier. 565 eastbound at Glen Hearn. Both should be getting about ready to clear. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is driven by you, driven by those with grit, determination, and a goal to succeed. This is why we do what we do. The Huntsville Sports Commission promotes an enhanced quality of life in the Huntsville area through sports. We work hard to make sure those who come to Huntsville to compete have all they need to be the best they can be. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. Let's go out to Mark from Huntsville real fast, right out of the break. Good morning, sir.
Morning, guys.
Morning, Mark.
Hey, morning. Just for the Alabama-Tennessee game, I don't think Coach Saban's going to have to say anything other than maybe just show the video at the end of last year. I was thinking about the Florida game. What did Florida do to beat Tennessee so soundly?
They ran the football and controlled the clock, and Mertz was efficient, which is what Milroe's got to be. He's got to be able to hit targets and give them balance. But, they dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and they stopped Tennessee's running game, which A&M and Dirt Neck couldn't do. I mean, they gave up 238 yards rushing. But here's the thing, Tennessee, this is what mildly surprised me. Tennessee couldn't throw the football against A&M. Alabama did. Milton was 11 of 22 for 100 yards and the touchdown. I thought, as we had Vince Ferrara on last week, I thought there would be plays out there where they would be able to, kind of exploit that.
Yeah, Saban normally doesn't lose back-to-back to teams, and I feel a little good about Saturday. I think Alabama-LSU game is going to, I think that's going to be the one for the West. But it just, I know it's Monday, but I really think regardless of, how Bama got the lead, we really hadn't, had a lead like we did Saturday, and you got to learn how to finish like Saban talked about. And, I think this is the week to put it together, and I can't see a crowd that's going to be more loud than this Saturday after what happened last year. I was going to ask you, what role does a game like last year, the way it ended, and what the response was, what role will that play this week and in particular in the game?
Well, I mean, the players should be locked in. They should be super motivated. I mean, I do remember now there's no guarantees because in 14 and 15, Alabama lost back-to-back to Ole Miss, but a lot of the reason they lost to the Rebels in the rematch in Bryant-Denny is they had 5 turnovers, including the opening kickoff of the game. Kenyon Drake fumbled. And you remember also the crazy play ricocheting off of a helmet or whatever, then caught and run for a touchdown. I mean, some crazy things happen. Okay, and Alabama still nearly won the game. So Alabama can't make mistakes like that. But certainly they shouldn't lack for motivation. And Tennessee wants to beat Alabama for the first time back-to-back since 03-04, and they want to win for the first time in Bryant-Denny since 03. So they're going to have motivation, but so is Alabama. And Alabama still very much controls their own destiny in the SEC West.
Yep.
They're undefeated right now. They are a game ahead of LSU. And you saw what LSU did to Auburn. I mean, they just decimated them. I thought they would beat Auburn. I thought Auburn could hang a little more. And when it was 20-10, I thought they might. But they just could not. The ugly for Auburn
is the offense.
The offense is not very good. The receiver core, the quarterback situation is not great. And then the bad was, defensively, they could not do anything with Jaden Daniels in that offense. LSU has an elite offense.
Right.
They have the best offense, in my opinion, in the Southeastern Conference. I think Jaden Daniels right now is a better player than the overrated Caleb Williams, who, to me, I wasn't impressed with. He wasn't the best quarterback on the field 2 weeks ago against Arizona. The SC, and he crowned himself after running in a 2-point conversion. And he's a really good player.
Right.
But the greatest quarterback prospect in 20 years. I don't really get it.
No.
Jaden Daniels is to me one of the top 2 to 3 Heisman candidates.
Well,
his
I
ball
would put
placement,
Michael Penix number 1, Jaden Daniels 2 at this point. I know LSU has.
Yeah, I know, but I understand. But I'm just saying, Jaden Daniels is SC Player of the Year.
Right.
He is tremendous. His improvement's staggering, and I just think overall, and then and the good for Auburn though. I do think they battled. I think that when you saw Robbie Ashford do some good things, I think he came in, he played pretty good football. You certainly saw Brandon Frazier, the tight end, have the best game of his career.
Easily.
But again, there wasn't a lot of good just because Auburn was outclassed, and it really just shows the talent differential between Auburn and LSU.
Here's Hugh Freeze real fast after the game on Saturday.
For us. They beat us every way. That you could. We had no answers defensively for them, and offensively just not consistent enough to stay in a scoring match with them. And we got to own everything that's on that film: the effort, the good and the bad, and go back to work and hopefully get better. This will test us, which is football does that. And it'll test us because the only way to get out of this funk is to work hard. And to do that, you've got to have the right attitude and be able to put the past behind, but at the same time own what we're doing. And I don't know that we win the game, but we certainly could have played better. That's a really, really, really good offense. And we didn't play our best for sure.
That was Hugh Freeze after the loss on Saturday. And some of the players even questioned the effort that was put out there. And if you're Auburn, you're coming off a bye week. Effort shouldn't have been an issue because you come in well-rested. You come in full of – you should have come in full of energy.
And I thought that's why they would stay closer in the game. I thought LSU was the better team. I thought LSU would win, but I just thought – but they just didn't – LSU, mashed them.
All right, let's get out to the phone lines. They're starting to fill up. LSU Lou is with us on this Monday. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Man, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
How about them Tigers?
Yeah, they looked good, didn't they?
Played well.
Yeah, Auburn was outgunned, so they were Eagles that day. They were not Tigers. They were Eagles. I don't know about the war part, but they were Eagles. But the defense looked different. It looked like, I guess, what Brian Kelly and the crew have been trying to cook up.
They figured out what to do with Harold Perkins on Saturday.
Exactly.
They figured out what to do with him. Yes.
That's a good scheme, but you can't do that against somebody with wide receivers like Florida State, Miss, because then it creates problems. Just put him on a pass rush and hope that the quarterback don't have time to throw the ball. But all around, Jaden Daniels should win a Heisman, man. He should. if you just go from
it depends on Penix, man. Penix is unbeaten right now.
I'm telling you what,
Penix is pretty doggone good.
After watching that whole entire game on Saturday,
both of them's great players.
Yeah,
I like watching both of them, but I got to give Penix credit because they're playing in a tough league this year, and they're undefeated.
I think after the Bama game, after they pull off the win at Bama, he'll solidify his Heisman win. So enough.
He's got plenty of chances. Yeah, he's got plenty of big games ahead of him to say, hey, look, give me a really good look for your Heisman ballot. And there's no doubt about that, does Jaden Daniels.
For some reason, I don't think they want him to win it, to be honest, because there's not much talk about him unless it's, from this side of the country, from the lower side of the country.
Lou, you got 2 L's, man.
Yeah, that, and I think the defense is the poor defensive performance is overshadowing what he's done on the field.
I mean, you don't
so far.
see Robert Griffin III won it with 3 losses, and Tim Tebow did too. But it doesn't. But that's what we're saying. He's going to have opportunities to continue to climb up the ladder.
Yes.
But if he loses another game, though, you can forget it. But I mean,
it's just going to be numbers at that point.
And he'll be in New York,
right?
In my opinion, but he won't win the award. But he'll be in New York, certainly.
He should win it, but we'll find out. But what y'all think y'all gonna do next week against Tennessee? Because I haven't watched any Tennessee games, so I don't know how they look.
I think Alabama. I picked Alabama just under the number. I certainly don't think they'll cover. I think they were on their way to cover unless I picked them to against Arkansas before some bonehead things happened. But I've got them 29-20. I think it's going to be a good football game, but I think they're going to find a way to win it, and I think Will Reichert's going to play a huge role in it. But I think they'll probably have trouble scoring touchdowns and kick a lot of field goals. But I think
9.5 is that line.
It came out. I think the first one I saw was 9.
Yeah,
but I think Alabama can win it 29-20, and I think the defense can contain Middleton and then slow the running game down. Because Tennessee, that was the key last year. Tennessee ran it for 180 yards. Alabama's got to stop the run. If Alabama can slow the run down and make them earn everything, then I think Tennessee's still going to make some plays. They got, a good running back room. They've got a pretty good offensive line. They've got some guys that can make plays in the back end as far as receivers. But I don't think they're as explosive as last year, though. But again, I think Alabama. I would pick around the 29-20 game.
All right, I got one more thing. Going to the Arkansas game. Looking at how Arkansas lost by 3 points against LSU and how they just lost by 3 points against Alabama, does that say something about Arkansas or does that say something about LSU and Alabama?
I think it says something about Arkansas.
I think it says that Arkansas doesn't quit. I mean, Pittman's team fights, and that's
they're not
why
far off.
There shouldn't be any talk about firing Sam Pittman when you watch his team fight, because they haven't given up on him. They fight for him. They played hard against Alabama. They played hard against LSU, Ole Miss. In other words, just let him keep trying to fix the roster. He might need to get rid of Enos and go get an offensive coordinator that's a little better fit, or they may need to tweak their offensive personnel toward what Enos wants. But again,
it's not as far off as
I think they should stay with Sam Pittman, and I'll be interested to see how they finish the season. But they're still playing very, very hard.
Yeah, and think about this. I mean, Arkansas has had 4 straight SEC road
on the
games
road, counting one on a neutral field.
Yeah, to start off the year. So I mean that's an awfully tough task.
Now I will say they're back in Fayetteville for the first time in a month. They got to beat Mississippi State, man.
No, they do. All right, LSU. Thanks for the phone call. We've got to get a break in. Husky Dan, Jeff from the Borough. We will get to you guys as soon as we come back from the break. It's Talking Ball live from Bill Penny Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday night, expect a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures going to be falling into the lower 40s for the overnight. Looking ahead into your Tuesday, we'll see another day full of sunshine. High temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 60s, and it looks like we'll be staying dry. Rain looks to return back to the forecast heading into your Friday. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a wreck reported on the Hudson Memorial Bridge northbound. Decatur PD never found it. One at County Line and Old 20's got injuries. Sparkman south of University reported with injuries, and they should be clearing 565 westbound at Greenbrier and 565 eastbound at Glen Hearn. Those were both no injury. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So if you happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
And welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Before we get out to the phone lines, we do want to welcome in all of our visitors from Conference USA.
Oh, yes.
Today is Conference USA Basketball Media Days out there at the Space and Rocket Center. 9 a.m. is when the doors open. It's going to go on until about 3 o'clock. Every Conference USA team is here. That includes Jacksonville State, who is now a member of Conference USA. But Florida International will get things started at 10 o'clock this morning. Jacksonville State, both women's and men's basketball programs, will meet the media at 11 o'clock this morning. They'll start making their way through everything. And then Liberty is here in town, Liberty basketball, men's basketball team, as well as Louisiana Tech. Middle Tennessee is here, New Mexico State, Sam Houston, UTEP, and Western Kentucky. They're all here in town, so welcome to everyone from Conference USA. Let's go to Husky Dan real fast this morning. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, guys. Hell of a game. You guys got
man, it was a great game, man. It was fun to watch.
Football, and a real Heisman candidate in Michael Penix. It was great to watch Caleb Williams throw the 3 interceptions and knock himself out.
That was the best,
bro.
Husky Dan. That was the best college football game that I've watched all year, from start to
It
finish.
was my best
one of the
Saturday
best.
in probably 30 years. Just watching both of those, and
Yeah.
what we're getting to see with Michael Penix. I mean, I've seen a lot of Washington quarterbacks, but that guy, he could just put on a uniform and play for the Giants or half of the teams in the NFL right now. I mean, I can't believe people are debating whether or not he's a first-round pick or not. I mean, I haven't seen that kind of talent. I don't know in how many years. With his ball placement is just amazing. What we're getting, so that would be a shame if they don't get to the championship, because he's just a talent. And then Dan Lanning, oh my gosh, I mean, I can't believe how he just gave the game. And they're talking about him as the next coach for Alabama. Are you guys really thinking that you guys might want him as a coach? That guy, he did that last year too. He also went for it on 4th down. He said that's what we do. We're aggressive, but I think that's kind of stupid, really.
Well, DeBoer also did that late. They could have kicked a field goal, and he went for it as well. They were both kind of taking chances, you know.
Well, I mean, DeBoer, Penix his ribs were bruised or whatever. I mean, he was not the same quarterback. I don't know if he took a hit or something like that. He got down to the goal line, and they couldn't even throw the ball. They just had to keep running it with the run.
But I'm just saying, why didn't he take the points? Both coaches.
Too. I knew that. That's what's making these teams better, is all these SEC players coming out, and the transfer portal has pretty much diluted the SEC and made teams like the Pac-12, or what was it, a lot better, because I don't know how many teams in the top 10 have SEC players, but I'm pretty much sure all of them do now, because if they're 4th string on Alabama or some of these other teams, they're gonna get to start at the other schools. So it's crazy with the dilution, I think, and I think that the SEC isn't as strong as it used to be, because they can't put those 4-star guys on the bench and have them come in. They have to bring the 2 or 3-star guys in there. And I think I can see that with every SEC team this year.
Well, and I will say the one thing Oregon that I thought they did really well is I thought they were balanced. I think the one thing that concerns me, Washington ran the ball okay, but not great, and they didn't stop the run really well. They're going to have to, tighten up their rush defense. I thought Oregon kind of took it to them in the trenches, but I mean, you're right about Penix. I thought he was tremendous. And he played through, getting hurt. He took some shots. He certainly wasn't 100% by the end of the game. But and I thought that both coaches were too aggressive, but Lanning was even more so. I thought he should have kicked the field goal at the end of the half. I thought he should have punted it deep and still tried to make Washington drive the length of the field. And certainly at the end of the game, of course, they could have – they missed a field goal that was very makeable.
Yeah, they were showing that they could stop. They stopped him a couple times. I've never seen that defense is no joke. With Oregon, I don't know if he's going to get to the Pac-12 championship game because he's an idiot. But he could lose to anybody. He could lose to Washington State with those kind of calls. But we'll see.
I don't know about that. I mean, Arizona kind of took care of Washington State. Took them behind the shed.
I know,
Arizona's sneaky. Arizona's very sneaky.
Yep.
Yeah, they played us tough. They have this dollar package where they put like 7 defensive backs out there, and it's teams that have never seen it, so it's hard to go against it. But Arizona State, it looks pretty good. They're a dangerous team. They can, but you have to throw it to the backs and throw it to the tight ends and stuff like that. You can't just rely on throwing it to the wide receivers up top. But it should be interesting. I think Washington will win. The toughest game probably is going to Oregon State because they look tough and sneaky good.
Right.
So thanks for the phone call, Husky Dan.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks. And he should be happy.
Win.
I mean, Washington got a big win on Saturday. Statement win that vaulted them inside the top 10 in the AP rankings. And right now they have to be the favorites to get to the playoffs from the Pac-12, which would end a drought for the Pac-12. Let's go to Jeff from the Borough. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
I just want to say, the LSU fan, Dan is not winning no Heisman Trophy. Like guys sit up here, a lot of things got to happen for him to win it. So quit living in your dream world. He ain't gonna win it. You can forget that. He might, I guess, New York. He can go to New York, sit there, and he can watch somebody else get it, but he's not winning it. No. I mean, I don't know what this deal is. Everybody thinks this great quarterback is wonderful. He couldn't even beat Ole Miss. 75 to 60. Y'all running up and down, y'all could even stop them. So, I mean, what they ain't going to win Heisman. I mean, Penix is probably, or somebody, or that guy Moore going to probably win it. Quarterback over there probably win it, I'd say. It's one of them two. I don't know who else, but, I mean, Daniels ain't going to. So, I mean, but now it's a pretty good weekend. Drew, did you see the column the guy wrote about the Braves?
Did you see the column about the Braves?
No.
Did you see it, Drew?
I did not. I was watching football. I was watching Kentucky get annihilated at home by Missouri.
When you have more penalty yards than yards, you're going to get beat. Simple as that. But I'll say this: fantastic regular season, postseason flop. Common occurrence, Braves fans. So that's all I got to say. But they got beat, ain't no doubt. They got beat.
No doubt. There's no doubt.
They won 2 World Series, and that's fine. World Series are tough to win, just like Kentucky. Never winning an SEC football championship, Jeff. Never. Never, Jeff. Never. Thank you. Okay.
There is no doubt Missouri beat Kentucky on Saturday.
Jalen Milroe looks like Michael Vick compared to the clown patrol that Kentucky's got at quarterback. Okay? I picked Kentucky to win that game. They were up 14-0, and of course, got annihilated then from the rest of the game.
Wacky,
I think
though.
They got outscored 38-7 at home.
Florida goes up to Lexington and looks bad. Kentucky looks good in that ball game. Florida looked good against Tennessee, but then didn't. And then Saturday, Florida has to dig down deep, get by South Carolina, coming back to win on the road in Columbia to get by, and all of a sudden, Florida has just one loss in SEC play. It's like, what?
Well,
what do you make of the East?
Well, I think it's just it's kind of a hodgepodge right now. It was a great comeback, by the way, by Florida to come back and beat South Carolina because it looked like they were dead in the water. Graham Mertz had a great game. Ricky Pearsall, they came back and won it.
Yeah.
Once again, Florida kind of struggled defensively, but again, they came back, won the game. I don't think there's any great teams in the East except maybe Georgia, and Georgia's shaky because they, like Alabama, kind of in the second half against Arkansas, Georgia was flat against Vanderbilt, and Bowers got hurt, which doesn't help them. He ended up going out with because they're not super explosive offensively,
right?
And he's their best player, and he goes out with a high ankle sprain, so that did not help Georgia at all. So certainly, I think Georgia has the second best defense in the SEC to Alabama. I still think Alabama's got the best defense, and that's even with a couple drives they struggle with against Arkansas, because look, defense is different now, man. It's hard to hold people to 17 points. Even with these new clock rules. By the way, though, if you've noticed, if you get up 3 scores in the second half with these new clock rules, you're pretty much dead in the water if you're down 3 scores.
Because the way the clock moves,
the
it
way
doesn't
the clock
stop
moves,
on first downs, it doesn't stop when the ball goes out of bounds.
So we'll see, but I just think overall, it's pretty wide open behind Georgia at this point, because I kept thinking Kentucky would separate themselves, and they've done the Kentucky. It's basketball season, Jeff. It's media day this week. Kentucky fans will be ready for basketball because, and I like Mark Stoops, but they fell flat on their face and just got annihilated that second half by Missouri when I thought they would win the game. I really did. I thought they would bounce back, win it. I picked them, and it looked good early. But you can't hide the quarterback, and they just do not have one. It's a bad situation right now, and so and Brady Cook has had a good year for Mizzou, and they were better at the quarterback position, and Mizzou defensively in the second half just got after Kentucky, and Kentucky's O-line struggled, and it was just a bad loss.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, going to wrap up Hour 1 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, coming to you live from Bill Penny Toyota Service Department.
Yeah, I knew Jeff was going to try to change this so you can get all on
there. You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Decatur PD was checking for a wreck northbound Hudson Memorial Bridge and never found it. County Line and Old Highway 20 reported with injuries. They canceled Himsey. Sparkman south of University also reported as an injury type, and I think they canceled Himsey on it as well. Beginner to fitness fanatic, the YMCA has everything you're going to need, plus free child care. Over 200 group classes, swimming pools, and awesome fitness equipment at the Y, Huntsville, and Madison. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars? 3 end-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
There you go, 7:52 on a Monday morning. Welcome back in, Talking Ball. We're live this morning from Bill Penny Toyota. And as we mentioned the last break, we wanted to welcome in our friends from Conference USA because it's basketball. But as you kind of pointed out, and I saw this online this morning, today is Monday, October 16th. That means it's the first official day for high school basketball teams officially to be inside the gym and practice. So
yeah, for boys and the ladies. Yep.
So as the calendar turns to fall, and I mean this weekend, boy,
it felt like it a little bit.
It fell out. It fell yesterday.
Even this morning, man. We both got pants on.
I know. I had to put the breeches on this morning. Well, I was like, not gonna be able to wear the shorts today. And I'm like, this is. I look down and I'm like, well, it's only 49 degrees.
Yeah, but of course our next caller, where he's from. This is the
heat wave.
Heat wave. There's still people in shorts, no doubt. What's up, Wolverine Dan?
Brother, you are correct. It's a heat wave here in this house. Nothing but hot teams really playing hot football. Okay, let's start. Of course, I'm going to hit both sides of the spectrum here. Let's talk about my Michigan Wolverines, brother. I tell you, it was a slow start. There's no doubt about it. I was a little concerned. But it all came to home here where they just performed. You know, listen, this team, guys, is winning by 33 points a game. Corum is the lunch pail running back that gives you 2 TDs a game, okay? Now, in the Big Ten, we won 19 straight Big Ten games. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a great
it's an
streak.
impressive number,
No doubt.
considering that Michigan plays in the toughest division in the Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten West is atrocious. The Big Ten East is the tougher of the divisions.
So we're going to have Penn State, Ohio State this weekend.
Yep.
Yes. Now, I'm curious to see. I really want to see that game because I want to see how it plays out. Now, I'll getting to the opponent's game, or our opponent, I should say, this weekend. But I want to touch on a couple more things to Michigan, and I'll hit Lions real quick. I do want to talk about JJ had a solid game. His completion rating is just off the chain. Now, one of the TDs he threw, the majority of the yards gained on that was from the tight end Loveland. Man, I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how fast this guy was, and he's big. And, man, these defensive backs that were in the, just before they go in the end, he goes in the end zone. He just bulls over two defensive backs. My God. How would you like a big dude like that coming at you, full steam? He's gonna punish you, and that's exactly what happened. Now, it's great to get what I like about these scores when we really score a lot of points more than the opponent. We bring in the second stringers. You got to have games like that where these guys get time to play. Now, Jack Tuttle, our backup, threw a 4-yard TD pass at the end of the game, but he ran like a 9-play, 36 yards, which wasn't really that long, but at least it was a 9-play for him to get that TD with at the end of the game throwing it. It's just it's a great confidence builder. Now let's hurry it and let's go to the other side. I'm going to talk about the Lions. My brothers I did not know, but I got a phone call from one of my brothers. They were at the game in Tampa. Three of them, and my nephew was there too. So I thought that was pretty cool. All of a sudden, out of the blue, I got a picture of them in the stadium, and that was awesome. So anyway, I know, and I'll be backtrack real quick. We're playing Michigan State this weekend, the little brother. We shouldn't be a problem at East Lansing. I think we've got that game. We probably will win by that many points or more. They're not that good this year. But the Lions, they scored some records here. Lions are making a lot of records because the Lions really haven't been that good for a while. So these records they're breaking, they're later. Really like 1970, they had 19 touchdowns scored. They scored in, that many so far in the season. It set a record in 1970. We did it. So, like for instance, 350 yards per game in the last 5 games hasn't been done since 1954. My God, that was in 1957 we won the championship, but they went back that far. And then a 13-3 record in 16 games is the best since 1961-62. I mean, this team, we played Tampa Bay guys that had a really good defense. Now I will say this: if Tampa Bay's quarterback could have made those long passes, their receivers were open. I just don't think Baker is that good of a quarterback, and that's the reason why he's been. Well, yeah, he's a Heisman, but doesn't. My wife said he's a Heisman winner, but that don't mean nothing. What have you shown me lately? I just don't think he's that good of a quarterback.
Right. So, hey, Wolverine, Dan, thanks for the phone call, but we are almost up against that hour break there, and he should be happy. The Detroit Lions are 5-1 right now. How about this, though? Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State, 3 Big Ten teams, have the best scoring defenses in America right now. Michigan has only given up 6.71 points a contest. Penn State is at 8, and Ohio State is at 9. So those are Big Ten East teams playing some defense right now. Hey, when we come back, Travis Reier will join the program. We've got to recap that Alabama win against Arkansas. What was Travis Reier's thoughts on the game? He'll join us coming out of the break.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.Bank/VSiN.
Baseball playoffs, American League Championship Series. The Rangers shut out the Astros 2-0 last night. They're up 1-0 in the best-of-7 ALCS. Game 2 today at Minute Maid Park. Framber Valdez starts for the defending World Series champs, while the Rangers go with Nathan Eovaldi. Houston -135, Texas +130 on the money line. Phillies and Diamondbacks, Game 1 in Philadelphia. Zach Gallen starts for the Diamondbacks. Zach Wheeler gets the nod for the Phillies. Philadelphia -162, Arizona +145 on the money line. Texas, the current favorite to win the World Series at +200. Philadelphia +220. The Astros +320. Arizona +500. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, welcome back. Hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you on a Monday morning, and we kick off Hour 2 again live from Bill Penny Toyota, sitting out here in the service department Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And don't forget, if you got to bring your vehicle in for an extended period of time, you can also just rent a Toyota. They now have hourly rentals available, $15 per hour. Applies to all vehicles. Gives you a chance to drive a shiny Toyota around town while yours is getting repaired. And, hey, if you need it for longer than 4 hours, anything that you pay for those 4 hours will go towards the daily rental rate, so you don't have to pay it again. So it's Bill Penny Toyota. Rent a Toyota as well. Don't forget, you buy 3 tires right now, you get that 4th one for $1. Alabama gets a win over Arkansas, albeit a little closer than what a lot of people thought this one was going to be, simply because, not because of the way Arkansas was playing going in, but the way Alabama was playing early on of 21-6. It looked like this might be that game where from start to finish that Alabama says, you know, bam, everything clicks, and it's a bigger margin of victory than what we saw.
Yeah, you know, it was just a performance that was good for 2.5 quarters, as Nick Saban said, and then and that was the good. But then the kind of the bad and the ugly happened the last quarter and a half, and we're going to discuss that with since 2003, the senior analyst for BamaOnline.com. He's also part of the Talkin' Tide daily podcast with the Tuscaloosa News, Chase Goodbread, and also with SEC Second Helping with Brent Beard. Does a lot of great things with the BOL podcast and their new YouTube channel, guys, that's just launched a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, and he does a BOL second watch after the game. He does instant analysis as well, does a lot of great work, and we always enjoy our chats weekly with Travis Ryer. Travis, hope you had a great weekend. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Well,
Travis.
Yeah, and Travis, just your first initial thoughts on what we saw on Saturday with Alabama. I guess start with the good first.
Yeah, the good is that the explosive pass plays continue to show up, and they came at a good time in a 6-0 game with Arkansas in the lead, and looking at a 3rd and 15 or so, and Jalen goes deep to Kobe Prentice to get Alabama on top, and really a couple of good possessions after that too. So there were some really good things. There were some complementary football scenarios there in the late first quarter and really through the second quarter and into the early stages of the third when they got the ground game going there for a couple of possessions. But sort of a turning point or a couple things, they weren't able to maximize what they did on those opening possessions of the third quarter. They had some opportunities to really get some separation in a 21-6 game, and the best they could do was a red zone field goal from Will Reichard. So it kind of left the door open a little bit there and then swung it more ajar when you had the possession extending penalty on Jalen Key there in the third quarter that really breathed life into a Razorback team that looked like they were all but done. And you don't want to do that with a guy like KJ Jefferson because this guy can make you pay, and Arkansas was able to do that on a couple of possessions that followed. And it's not a great Arkansas offense by any means, especially without Rocket Sanders for much of the season. But KJ, if he gets his chances, that's an offense that only averages like 320 yards per game, but he accounts for 230 of that. So it just tells you how big he is for that team, literally and figuratively. And he kept Arkansas in the game, and Alabama certainly had something to do with that too.
And it's kind of what we've seen, though, from Alabama, Travis, this year, where maybe it's not as much as the opponent slowing Alabama down. It's Alabama themselves taking away a lot of their own momentum.
Yeah, and that has been a pretty consistent theme, and we rarely haven't seen 60 minutes of complete football, at least against a quality, or conference type of an opponent. So I think in some ways they're pretty fortunate to be 6-1 and 4-0 in the SEC, but there's also stretches where you think to yourself, yeah, this is a team that legitimately can at the end of the season be in a position to challenge for a college football playoff spot, an SEC championship. But consistency still a little bit elusive for this team, and again, bits and pieces of some really good stuff. I thought pass protection still an issue, obviously, with an emphasis on the left tackle position, but there were some really good things in the run game at times. They worked some zone runs, they worked some gap scheme as well, a little more variety in how they went about the run, which is going to be important against Tennessee this week. But yeah, just trying to still, reach that point of the season where a lot of us felt they would be right now. A lot of us felt like this is a team at this point in the season you wouldn't want to play once they sort of got some things figured out at some different areas, really on both offense and defense. They would be playing their best football. They're still trying to get there.
Yeah, they really are, and but I think we also I wanted to ask you, though, about the second half, because I thought once he got going and with the vertical passing game and throwing the ball down the field, it was a good first half for Jalen Milroe. I thought he had basically stacked 2.5 good games together. In your mind, after doing the second watch and watching the tape, what was the big issue in the passing game in the second half?
Yeah, they had opportunities. His receivers,
because guys were open, it looked like.
Yeah, his receivers didn't always help him, but he wasn't as accurate, I didn't think, in the second half. There were some balls where, you'd love his receiver to really help him out, but the throw to Jalen Hale in the middle of the field there, I think in the third quarter, that's a throw you just got to put on him. And Hale tries to go up and high point this thing with his fingertips, but the DB's still kind of there and able to recover because of the throw, and then the ground is going to be tough to survive with the football. So, there were instances like that. Again, the receivers weren't their best at times. And I think that, protection you're going to continue to worry about for him, because he's not a guy that is very intent on getting to his check down. You still see situations where he's got backs in the flat, and he just doesn't want to go there a lot of times. Now, those deep overs and the deep ball, he can absolutely do that. But, it'll be an interesting matchup this week with Tennessee, because Tennessee, pretty good against the run. Only game that Tennessee lost this season was Florida, and Florida had some success there on the ground. But you're talking about two of the top backs in the SEC too that Florida has. So, I think this week with these two quarterbacks, there's some similarities there with Joe Milton and Jalen Milroe and how they go about their business and kind of what their strengths and weaknesses are. And so both of these teams obviously are going to want to try to establish the run from the outset.
Is the left guard position for Alabama what it is at this point? They're just going to have
right
to
guard.
Or the right guard, is it just going to be what it is, and they're just going to have to work through it?
Maybe you're thinking left tackle too.
Oh, left tackle.
Yeah, with Caden Proctor and
that's
Elijah Pritchett. I think it is, because they don't have an Andre Smith just kind of camped out over there on the sideline that they can go with. I mean, unless they want to go really young or do something along the lines of kicking a guard out to tackle. I would think at this point, if they were going to make the move J.C. Latham from right to left, they would have done that. But then you still have a situation at right tackle. So for now, anyway, that appears to be the case. And both those guys continue to have their struggles against Arkansas on Saturday. So you got a guy like James Pierce coming up next for Tennessee. Been very productive, very good edge defender in his own right. You got this stuff on tape. These guys know that you're up next, and so you're not getting a break anytime soon.
And Travis, when I was saying right guard, I was going to ask you about. We saw the second start for Jaden Roberts, and when it went, and as far as it was saying, is this what it is? Is Jaden Roberts taking this job? Because it looks like he could be right now. I know the two guys have been hurt, and we saw Ferguson on the sideline in his pads. I know Dalcourt warmed up, but Jaden Roberts has been pretty impressive now 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think he's at a point where you could certainly make the argument that he's earned it, after his play at Texas A&M, and then to follow that up with some good stuff against Arkansas, both in the kind of zone run game, but then they pulled him a good bit. They got him out in front of runs, too, against Arkansas, and I thought he did a nice job in that regard. This guy's been around. It's not like he's a first or second year guy.
That's right, yeah.
And, I've kind of felt all along for he and Terrence Ferguson when they went into the season with Dalcourt as a starter at guard that, Ferguson and Roberts weren't that far away from being of SEC starter caliber, and I think both those guys at a lot of places right now could start. I mean, you see Damian George starting at right tackle and playing pretty well for Florida. So, those are guys that I think are capable. I think Jaden's put himself in position to certainly, again, make the case that you keep going with him, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And, they've obviously had a little bit of a revolving door issue there at that guard spot, and a lot of that's had to do with health issues. But right now, Roberts looks pretty good.
Tennessee comes to town on Saturday, and last year it was the passing attack of Tennessee. Hendon Hooker and those talented wide receivers. Tennessee comes to Tuscaloosa almost completely opposite. It's the running game this year for Tennessee that has been powerful. The quarterback play kind of similar to Alabama, kind of up and down. Joe Milton can have a good series, and then the wheels completely fall off. What do you make of Tennessee coming to town on Saturday?
Yeah, I think that, for Tennessee with this offense, the key is, those backs, obviously. We got three that are averaging, I think, more than 5.5 per carry. Milton's averaging more than 5 a carry. So you got to account for Milton with his legs and those three backs. And so that's where it's going to start. I think really the game's going to come down to, for Alabama defensively, can it slow down Tennessee's run game enough from its nickel package? Because Tennessee likes to spread you out with those wide receiver splits, and they stack those receivers outside the numbers, get you light in the box, and then, run the football at you. I think Tennessee in 5 of its 6 games this season has rushed for more than 200 yards. The only game it didn't was the loss at Florida when it ran for just 100 yards in that game. So that's going to be everything for the Alabama defense this week. Can it hold up from its nickel package on early rundowns? And then the tempo, the pace that Tennessee's going to bring offensively is something that, Alabama hasn't seen much of so far this season, really, when you think about it. And that's going to be a different aspect of playing defense. And, you're going to have to go into some series thinking these are the 11 guys we're going to play with, from start to finish in this possession, because substituting is really difficult with the pace that Tennessee works at.
And then with this Alabama team offensively, Travis, I said it in the first hour that Alabama's going to need to see the Milroe from A&M, a guy that helps provide balance. I did like the fact that the running game was a little more varied, a little more perimeter run. They got Jam Miller involved, even Justice Haynes. And I thought, and you mentioned it as well, the running game was better in this game. But they're going to need balance against Tennessee.
They are, and how they go about it is going to have to be a little bit nuanced, kind of like what we saw against Arkansas. And, if you watched Florida and Tennessee, that's what Florida was able to do. They mixed it up. They they tried the interior on occasion, but a lot of their success, especially with Etienne, came more in the B, C gap type runs, not just in the A gap. So they're going to have to be able to do some of that. I think more of that approach that we saw against Arkansas, where you, as you said, you get Jam Miller involved because of his speed to the perimeter. They had 4 backs that played well in the game against Arkansas. The backs rushed for over 200 yards in the game Saturday. So you take the sacks out of it, it goes under. But, yeah, I agree. I think you go back to, the last 7 games, the team that's run for the most yards in this series has won the game. Tennessee kind of overlooked a year ago because of the explosiveness of Jalen Hyatt. The fact Tennessee outrushed Alabama.
They certainly did.
So I think you got to go back to 2015 to find the last time the loser of this game won the rushing total but lost the game, and that's crazy because that 2015 Alabama team was obviously led by Derrick Henry in a Heisman Trophy win and winning year, and Tennessee outrushed Alabama in Tuscaloosa but lost the game by 5. And I think this game could be similar. That was a 19-14 kind of game. I don't think we're getting to the low 50s in this one. I think maybe 1st to 24 is going to be good enough to win Saturday.
Wow. My final question for you is it going to be key for Tommy Rees, though, to get Milroe in a rhythm early? Because, of course, I thought he got off to a little bit of a slow start against Arkansas, but then he kind of got ignited with the Prentice deep ball, and he finished 7-10 in the first half and then just got off rhythm in the second half.
Yeah, it's a little bit boom or bust with that passing game. And, I just don't think they're either comfortable – it has to be that they're not comfortable with an RPO passing game.
Oh yeah, they're not. No,
I don't think they are. They're not comfortable with the quick game to the outside. The smoke screens and some of the things that have been staples of this offense. So, man, that really shrinks the sample size or the pool of options that you have. You become play action and you become more vertical based, which is great as long as you're hitting them. But maybe something along the lines of the start of the second half against Texas A&M would be good to see earlier in the game. Kind of that quick game and quick throws where, as you said, you're maybe able to get Jalen in rhythm. These throws that they look to hit, they're in defense of Jalen too. They're not high percentage throws. So when you look at his completion percentage and say, wow, it's down from guys like Bryce and something. Well, I mean, they're largely taking shots. They're not getting free yards off the quick game or the jet sweeps or things like that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, very true. Great stuff. Going to be a big week on BamaOnline.com. This is always a special one, the 3rd Saturday in October. Alabama and Tennessee, the Tide trying to win 16 out of 17, but the Vols trying to win 2 in a row for the first time since 03 and 04. Travis, let everybody know how to follow you and all your work, man.
Thanks, guys. Just go to BamaOnline.com, and, of course, you can now catch us on our YouTube channel. Bama Online is on YouTube. We're putting out a lot of video content to go along with everything else we give you at BamaOnline.com. Either way, you're going to get to us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, guys.
Travis Reier with us, helping us break down Alabama's win over Arkansas. Let's get that break in, shall we? We're live from Bill Penny Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. More Talking Ball when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family-owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Picked up a wreck on 565. This one's reported westbound in the median just before the parkway. And we got a wreck at 72 and 7 Mile Post Road in Limestone County. That one's going to be a no injury, but it's got some eastbound blockage there. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded, juicy, tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, the Zone. Before we get back out to the phone lines, I do have to play 2 little clips for you real fast. This came Saturday, and I want you to try to guess which team it is.
In jeopardy. Absolutely, Rob. 2 years ago, they gave him a 10-year, $95 million extension, fully guaranteed. Since then, 5-7 last year. There was some optimism. 5 of the first 6 games were at home. The one road game last week, unranked Miami got outplayed, outcoached. They got whipped. Now Jimbo is 1-7 in his last 8 against Power 5 opponents. The buyout is huge, $77 million. But I'm told if he doesn't get it going this year, A&M will find that money as the source told me this week, said, look, it's year 6. What's another 8-4 season going to prove at this point? One other thing, Rob, that has made it really interesting. The arch rival, the team they hate more than anything, Texas, they're looking like a national title contender, and Steve Sarkisian's only been on the job half as long as Jimbo Fisher has.
That was on September 16th. I had to dig through the archives to find that.
Yeah.
Saturday,
and actually, it's not quite half as long. I mean, he's only the second year for Sark, but the point being made, I mean, they've looked like a much better football team than Dirt Neck.
Saturday, this was after.
Oh, you're talking
Tennessee
about the
game.
propagandist. He asked the first question.
What would you say to the tens of thousands of Aggies that have been so
same thing? Hold it.
I'm not finished. Emotionally and financially supportive. That question whether or not you can actually
The same things I just said to our kids. I mean, they ain't hurting no more than our kids are. Those players in that locker room, don't put them above the players. I mean, I love our players, and I love our fans. I love our people who give money. But those kids are what's more important. That's why they're giving it. Those kids are hurting in there, too, and we got to find a way to help them. We got to coach them better, get them to play better, and play in critical moments better, and that's what we're going to do.
They lost to Tennessee, so you got to go, what do we say, 0-7 now against top 25 teams on the road since for Jimbo Fisher since 2015 or 16. His last win is against a top 25 team on the road came in 2016. He has not beaten a top 25 team on the road.
Yeah, he's a Dirt Neck. Not very good.
Bama Bino with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, guys. I've seen some sloppy football this weekend, not only from Alabama, just 2 or 3 games I watched. But I want to get to a point or two because I know we got some other callers.
You didn't have to watch the Iowa-Wisconsin game, but I appreciate you for doing that.
I'm talking about SEC, but can Proctor not slide his feet to the left a little? Every time we get feet around the edge on the left, it's almost as if his right foot is cemented in the ground. Can he not slide his doggone feet? Robbie used to be an H-back over there at the block, but he could do a better job if it switched jerseys. I mean, my Lord, this is not something that's new. It's just so perplexing to me that when he can't slide his feet to the left because all they have to do is rush the edge. But anyway, you got a defensive back, get the interference. Then he's as far as you can go, so he ain't going to get burnt. And he keeps turning around, the ball hits him in the back. Can you not turn around and look when the man looks? I mean, that's junior high football. That's not complicated. It's not professional. And then another thing, organization. Do these coaches are they not held accountable for who's supposed to be in the game and managing personnel? It's just sloppy. And the penalties, it's frustrating.
It is. They cut them down, but there were some stupid ones at just critical times that you can't have, Bama Bino.
I mean, if you play the ball, you don't have to worry about it. We got the speed to keep up with the guys. So turn around and look when the man looks. Play the ball. You won't get a concussion from getting hit in the back with a ball when it's thrown right to you. I mean, we're not. We may have number one recruiting and that, but they don't have football knowledge. They don't have common sense. Some of them. They're just not paying attention. And I heard some former players talking also about the sideline. There's no enthusiasm. This team has a locker room issue. I don't care if we're winning now finally, but there's no the give a damn's busted. Seems like they're just out there. Not everybody, but some of them. They're just out there. I don't know what they're out there for. But I don't see no enthusiasm. It was homecoming. I heard Saban say the fans, and all showed camaraderie and for taking it for what it was. But it didn't mean anything to them guys. It didn't seem like they just out there. You got to get a little fire on your tail every now and then. I just don't think that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's time to embarrass the people on film in front of their girlfriend and show, look, we told you to do this. It's embarrassing. Maybe they'll pay attention if they don't get embarrassed. It's just silly.
Appreciate it, thanks for the phone call, bud. Thanks for the phone call real fast, Bambino. Thanks for it, and we'll address that coming up here in a minute. But let's get to B. Rich real fast before we get
his
to Jake
favorite
Crane.
week of the year for B. Rich.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
What's up, B. Rich?
Good morning, fellas. You know it is my favorite week of the year. I look forward to this every single year. But let me tell y'all this. I do fully expect this game to look a lot different than the game that happened last year. You talk about two quarterbacks for two different teams that are very different situations than where both of these teams were at last year. So the under, I think, would definitely look good. I think you could set that at 40, and I'd probably still play the under. But
it was kind of surprised me. I think it's in the 60s right now, which kind of surprised me a little bit.
If it's 60s, I may
48.
It's gone down.
It's 48.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's 48. Yes.
That makes a lot more sense.
At 60, I was gonna put the house note on the line there. So, but fellas, one interesting note I heard from Travis. I love that y'all have him on every Monday. The interesting note, and I know you guys probably read between the lines too. When Travis mentioned they are not very comfortable running the smoke screen, the perimeter passing game, a lot of the things we ran last year, he's not saying they Alabama. He's saying
the quarterback,
Jalen Milroe. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a little bit frustrating watching this team because I do think he is making progress. I do think, we take steps. But when you have an opportunity like last Saturday to take a step forward, to really kind of dial in some more stuff, I think we missed these opportunities. But I do think I like seeing us step up in big games when we go on the road and all that kind of stuff. But this game's going to firmly come down. I'm going to call it, Drew, the Nuke LaLoosh Bowl because you have the two Nuke. We're going to find out who the real Nuke LaLoosh is this Saturday. And the winner of the Nuke LaLoosh Bowl probably loses that game. So it'll come down to Milton and Milroe. But we'll see who the real one is.
Yes.
All right, B. Rich, thanks. Yes, thanks for the phone call.
Somebody has to be a Durham Bull for Halloween then, I guess.
Yeah. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to bring in Jake Crane, get his thoughts on the college football weekend from a national perspective as well as the SEC perspective. Jake Crane next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday night, expect a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures going to be falling into the lower 40s for the overnight. Looking ahead into your Tuesday, we'll see another day full of sunshine. High temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 60s, and it looks like we'll be staying dry. Rain looks to return back to the forecast heading into your Friday. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Picked up a wreck on 565. This one's reported westbound in the median just before the Parkway. And we got a wreck at 72 and 7 Mile Post Road in Limestone County. That one's going to be a no injury, but it's got some eastbound blockage there. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded juicy tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. Welcome back. We're live from Bill Penny Toyota out here in the service department Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll cut that short because we want to spend as much time as we can with our guest. And because there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to undo from the college football weekend. We've already talked about probably the best game of the year so far, and that says a lot because Oklahoma and Texas, in my mind, was a fantastic ball game as well. Washington, Oregon was fantastic. You look at the SEC, there were some surprises in there. There was a lot to digest from one weekend of college football.
No question about it, and we always enjoy our weekly visits with the host of Crane and Company, brought to you by the Real Daily Wire, one of the fastest rising national sports shows in the country. They are on every day on YouTube from 6:30 to 8 a.m., and he's kind enough to join us each and every week a little after 8:30 on Mondays to give his reaction from the college football weekend. Jake, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Hey, guys, good morning. Another action-packed weekend of college football, crazy weekend in the NFL, and we're only at the halfway point, so it's only going to get crazier from here.
Jake, what did you think of that Washington-Oregon game on Saturday? We had a few callers call in and react to that.
I thought it was high level, man. I enjoyed the game myself.
Yeah. It's it's always great when a hyped matchup lives up to the billing. I came on here last week, and one of the few things I got wrong from last week was that I thought Oregon was going to win because they're the more balanced team. And after watching that game, you outrushed them. You outgained them offensively pretty much in every category. You won the turnover battle. You won the penalty battle. I thought Oregon overall was the better team, but I thought Dan Lanning, again, and I'm all for being aggressive. We opened the show with this morning. I love being aggressive. But being aggressive doesn't mean you just take the most drastic and riskiest option every single time. Like, there's got to be some nuance in it. Like, right before halftime, you get the ball coming out in the second half. Kick the field goal, man. Kick the field goal. And look, the 4th and 3 at the end of the game, we can argue that one. You just stopped them on defense. You're up by 4, so only a touchdown beats you. Make them drive the length of the field and try and score a touchdown or be aggressive. We can argue that. But, I'm to the point now where we keep hearing this term analytics. Analytics. They say, oh, well, if you're down 14, if you score a touchdown, go for 2. Like, I'm not a mathematician or a scientist or anything, but who really makes this decision? Like, they just use the word analytics. So I feel like sometimes analytics is just another word for, hey, just do the most drastic thing, and we'll try and make it make sense. But there's got to be some nuance in your decision-making, man. At some point, you have to stay on 16 when the dealer's showing a 5. Like, you can't just hit every single time.
Yeah, I agreed. I thought that he was just too aggressive at the end of the half and at the end of the game. I thought he should have punted deep, let his defense go to work. You never know, because Penix wasn't healthy too, Jake, and you saw that.
Yeah.
He would have had to go the length of the field.
Defense was playing pretty good, Drew. I mean, I thought
they were too, yeah.
Was actually playing decent.
Yeah, I thought they were the more physical team too, and so I just thought that he's going to have to learn there. I like watching his team. I like the plan. I like the way they executed just about the majority of the game and the way they play, but you just got to make better decisions as a head coach. I agree. Now, I didn't think it was a crystal ball, but still, I thought, no, he just needs to tone down some of the tendencies a little bit. And as you said, I thought it was a great take. Analytics there. Well, let's flip it a little bit. Caleb Williams, Notre Dame. That was I thought a horrendous performance by Caleb Williams. I can't even fathom him being a Heisman candidate anymore. I think SC's not through losing. What was your take on that game?
Well, I picked Notre Dame to win and win it big.
I did too.
I thought you were, everybody was talking about, this is the dream crusher spot. You're out of contention for the Natty, so why even show up? They said the same thing about Clemson, who had to take on Syracuse on the road after losing to Florida State, and Clemson beat them like they stole something from them. You had an old team that the week before against Louisville, I was shocked that they weren't mature enough to go out and put together a good game. They didn't need an elite game. They just had to play a good game. But they thought they could roll their helmet out against Louisville and win, and Louisville proved them wrong. And then Louisville obviously goes on to lose to Pitt last weekend, just the craziness of college football. But I thought I've said this about USC and Lincoln Riley. As long as Alex Grinch is the defensive coordinator, he is not going to win a national championship. I said it before the beginning of the season. And look, I'm right about some things, wrong about others. But this is one that it's the same movie every year. This is exactly what Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch do every year. Elite offense, elite quarterback, defensively when it matters they can't stop anybody. But it wasn't just the defense that lost the game against Notre Dame. That was a thorough, every aspect beating from Notre Dame. They beat them on special teams. You had the kick return, played sound in the other phases of it. They beat them on defense. Obviously, you look at the interceptions, the turnovers, limiting them. Then offensively, they did what they want when they wanted. That was a thorough win. Marcus Freeman, he's a great motivator. They got up to play. You saw an old team that was pissed off. But, Drew, I want to make this point really quickly about Dan Lanning. It's easy to sit here and say that in hindsight, well, this decision should have been different, that decision. I'm not saying one specific instance. I am saying there is a pattern of Dan Lanning taking the most drastic option every single time. And that is not being aggressive. That is being reckless. So I want to make sure that before anybody says, oh, well, it's easy to pick out this one decision. I'm not picking out one decision. I'm picking out all the decisions. So I want to make sure I get that clear. But Notre Dame, better team. USC's not done losing. I had them losing 3 this year anyway. So I was not surprised at all.
Does that put Michael Penix atop the Heisman list?
I mean, has to be, right? I mean, I don't think Bo Nix is out of it either.
No, I thought Bo played great.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think Michael Penix is at the top, but I think you got to keep Jordan Travis up there. I don't think we're done hearing from Quinn Ewers yet. I think we're going to get 2 rematches in conference championship games. I think we're going to get Texas and Oklahoma playing each other in a rematch in the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
I think we're going to get Oregon and Washington playing each other in a rematch of the Pac-12 championship. But here's the question, and I know they got to win out for it to happen. At what point do we start talking more about Jaden Daniels, man? Like,
he's a baller, man. Yeah.
Like you got to go beat Bama, right? You got to go beat Bama. You got to ball out then. But if they do go beat Bama, and LSU somehow wins the West, and Jaden Daniels keeps balling like this, look, RG3 won it, and they went 9-3, man. And like the numbers that Jaden Daniels putting up right now are just stupid.
No,
Auburn helped him on Saturday, did they not?
Auburn did, but Daniels has improved so much as a passer. I think he's a better player right now than Caleb Williams. I've liked him better. He and Penix, and I think Bo just right below those two guys. Those are the 3 of the better QB performances I've seen this year as far as those 3 players.
Yeah, well, I tweeted out on Friday that LSU has the best offense in the country, and you'd have thought I tried to kidnap the president's son with the way they were talking about, like, USC. Like, the difference in LSU's offense and USC's offense is I'm taking LSU's offensive line over USC's every single day of the week. But that Auburn game, speaking about a thorough beating, it's just disappointing to see Peyton Thorne turn down the smoke yet again. Not that it was the only reason, but it seemed that, fourth down, and you're going to run out of bounds a yard short. Man,
that is dumb.
Nobody's got time for that, man. You can take that back up to East Lansing, dog.
Now, do you think they're going to change quarterbacks? Do you think they need to change to Ashford?
I think you got to, just because at least Robbie's not going to go in there and lay down. Say what you want about Robbie. At what you threw for 102 yards? Congrats against a terrible pass defense. It can't get any worse. At least Robbie Ashford gives you an elite running element, and at least he's not going to go duck the smoke.
Well, there were times on Saturday when they would put Ashford in, Auburn would get into a rhythm. There was one drive where they get down into the red zone, and then they take Ashford out and put Peyton Thorne in, and it was like the game just came to a halt.
Yeah, it's seeming more and more like, at least, you could say almost every time, but especially on the road. Peyton Thorne, he just turns into Drew Barrymore from 51st Days. He just forgets. It's like, no. Like, you thought what? You ducked the smoke at Cal. You were scared to death at A&M. You thought it was going to be better going down to Death Valley? Dude can't play. I don't think he can play in this league. I don't think he looked really good when they had Jaden Reed and Keon Coleman and Kenneth Walker and all these other guys, where he didn't have to be first chair, but he has to come be first chair. And look, Auburn's got a lot of problems. It's not just Peyton Thorne, but I've never seen a quarterback at Auburn duck the money like that.
And Jake, to switch gears, Alabama, Tennessee. We know how it was one of the highest level games last year. It was, to me, like a Washington, Oregon a year ago. Two great quarterbacks. This year, it's the complete flip side. We just had one of our callers say it's the Nuke LaLoosh Bowl. Which one plays which one can play the other? But as far as inconsistency, both these guys, there was a lot of hype around Milton. He hasn't lived up to it. Milroe has been inconsistent. He put 2.5 good games together. The second half was a dud, though, against Arkansas. How do you see this game?
We all know how this is going to go. Like, everybody's going to be analyzing this from three. Here's how this game's going to go. Joe Milton can't make the routine throws routine, right? I think Tennessee, who ran the ball successfully against A&M, they will have some success running the ball just because of the system and the way they operate. I think they'll have some success. The last time they went on the road and tried to run it didn't really work out at Florida. But I trust Jalen Milroe more than I trust Joe Milton, especially on the road. I don't think Joe Milton throws it well enough for Tennessee to score enough. I don't think Tennessee's defense is going to play bad. Jalen Milroe is thinking himself as a pocket passer right now, which in some instances I think is costing him. But he's figuring it out as he goes. It won't be pretty, but I don't see a way in which Tennessee and Joe Milton can throw the ball well enough to be able to score points. So it may be tight early. It may be low scoring, but there'll be a couple plays that Jalen Milroe makes down the field, or he'll take off for like a 50-yard touchdown, or Bama will block a punt or something, and Bama will win. Like, I can't wait to watch this game unfold exactly like how everybody thinks it will.
And then, is there any other matchups that kind of catch your eye? Auburn, this is an interesting one. Is this a fork in the road game for this season for Auburn at home against Ole Miss?
Yeah, it is. If you want to have a chance to get to that 8-win plateau mark, you got to win this one. Auburn needs some positives, especially as bad as they looked, including in the second half. Obviously they played Georgia well at home. They'll get up for this one. There's no must-wins in year one for Hugh Freeze, but this is a need badly. This is definitely a need badly. But as far as around the rest of the country, Ohio State, Penn State. Can Penn State actually hit some explosive plays to be able to stay in this game against Ohio State? You've got Utah and USC, I believe, which should be interesting. You got South Carolina, Missouri, and what a disaster for South Carolina at home. Now they're 2-4, but yeah, man, there's some interesting ones littered all over the country this week. Clemson, Miami.
What about Missouri, though? Missouri sneakily.
Yeah.
That was a really good win at Kentucky, I thought, because I thought the Wildcats would bounce back, Jake.
I thought they would too. I tell you what, and they did it without Luther Burden going off. I think that tells you more about this Missouri team than anything. They're not just a one-trick pony. It's big for Drink, especially, both teams coming off a loss. Missouri had the lead against LSU, threw it away at the end. LSU took it, but Missouri helped them. And then Kentucky got absolutely embarrassed by Georgia. And it's funny, Luther Burden didn't go off. Ray Davis did go off, yet Missouri won by double digits and Kentucky lost. So if you'd have told me that box score, if I'd have looked at it before the game, I'd have told you Kentucky probably won. But that's why box scores don't tell you the whole story. They're just kind of a preview.
And then for one final question, what about Ohio State, Penn State? Is this going to be the game of the week?
Whew. Well, we're going to find out because it looks like the winner of the Big Ten East. Congrats, you get Iowa. That's the way it looks. Score 7 points and your Big Ten champs. No, look, I think
right.
This is definitely,
That's right.
Penn State, we've talked about their schedule. Now they get a chance. Now Drew Aller, we get to see, right? Ohio State, they beat Notre Dame. We've seen them in tough spots. I just don't believe that Penn State can hit enough explosive plays on offense against an Ohio State defense that is very sporty. We knew they were going to be good. These guys are good on every level. We always talk about the offensive skill players. I just don't see a way which on the road Penn State scores enough points to beat Ohio State. But that's why you play the game. Until you play a big-time opponent, we really don't know. So can the fear of the unknown kind of help out Penn State? Either way, it's going to be a heck of a matchup.
Really will.
You laugh at Iowa. We're the only team in the country that brings the punter into a post-game press conference because he can kick for over.
I tell you what, Iowa, they may be ugly, but they got a hell of a personality.
Well, Jake Crane does as well. Jake, great stuff as always. Let everybody know how to connect with y'all.
Definitely. Well, I'm ugly and I also do have a pretty good personality. So I guess we're similar in more ways than one. No, yeah, you can find us. It's really easy. Go to YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, however you listen or watch. Crane and Company, CRAIN and Company. We're live each weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central. We have live calls, a live chat. It stays on there forever, so if you can't catch it live in the morning, we're breaking down everything, college football, the NFL. Talked a little bit about some Major League Baseball playoffs today. So, yeah, come hang out with us.
Appreciate it, brother.
Jake.
Thank you.
Y'all be good.
Let's get that final break in. Your tomorrow's headlines when we return. The punter came post-game press conference.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Looks like we're going to wrap things up this morning with a few accidents. Got one on 53 southbound just south of Douglas. It's a no injury. Got one on the Parkway northbound to 565 westbound on the ramp. It has nobody hurt. And we got one in Limestone County, 72 and 7 Mile Post Road. Nobody hurt there, but there is eastbound blockage. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists on Bob Wallace Avenue have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Danny, pass the potatoes, please.
Sure, Dad.
And the salt.
Here you go.
And the bucket.
I need the bucket.
The water is dripping in my food.
Honey, can we get the roof fixed now?
Don't wait until the damage is done to call a roofer. Call the experts at Yellowhammer Roofing and let them inspect your roof. Locally owned and operated, licensed and insured. Call 256-232-1933. That's 256-232-1933. YellowhammerRoofing.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Work injuries happen in Alabama all the time, whether it's an accident at work, getting injured, lifting heavy objects, hurting your hands on a machine, or just performing the same movement over and over until your body breaks down. But when it happens, there's only one law firm to call in Alabama. That's Pond Lehocky Giordano. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back in. Your tomorrow's headlines today really, let's just skip those for right now. We'll get to those. Well, we've got a few of them, but let's just get out to Rod real fast.
What's up, Rod?
On the phone lines. Good morning, sir.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing this morning?
Good,
sir.
Sounds good. You know, you're talking about Milroe, when the back, you know, the little flare out past the back where his check down could be.
Right.
He waits. If he ever does that, he still waits too long to get the pass out there and everything. And his timing is just horrible. And he's holding on to the ball way too long, and he's staring down a receiver every time. And this is pretty much just the luck of the draw. And the matchup he had against Texas A&M on that corner with Burton, you know, I guarantee that was in the game plan to go at that guy, because that guy played that corner, that one corner all the time. And it just watching him throw the ball, I mean, he's doing it. It's unbelievable that he hadn't cost us any more than he has. You know, he was 3 for, was it 12 or 13 in the second half?
3 for 11. Yeah.
Right. And he's staring, even when there's twins to one side, he's staring down one receiver. And I mean, you see it at the game, you can see so much more, and he's staring the guy down. He throws it anyway. And I just don't see at this level of football how the heck is he, you know, doing that and everything. And then he holds on to the ball, like I said, too long in the pocket, and he don't step up in the pocket and then
he won't run willingly.
Right, he won't get, and then he tries to take off fast. And those, you know, your 2-5 techniques out there, your ends, they're coming up fit, and they got him dead to water. And I mean, it's you know, he did that one play against Middle Tennessee. That's against them, but. I don't know. It's like that remote that you got when you're trying to flip channels and the battery ain't working, and it's just like his mind's that way. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's a great athlete, I get that, but he's just not a SEC caliber quarterback.
Rod, thanks for the phone call there. Yeah. Hey, the headline that I was going to get to, how about my Iowa women's basketball program?
Record crowd, right?
55,646, the largest crowd for any women's basketball game in world history yesterday. They played an exhibition game against DePaul inside Kinnick Stadium.
Wow,
So there you go.
Caitlin Clark,
the power
queen, man.
Yep. She's now with State Farm. She's with Jake from State Farm.
Is she? She used to do a commercial with him.
She is.
You're
going to see him.
Nice.
Yeah. Are those
there
khakis?
You go.
All right.
I don't know. Is she going to wear khakis?